So thank you, everybody. I can see actually from the audience list that we have quite a lot of our folks from our Early Head Start Childcare Partnership grants on this call. And it seems that there's quite a few other folks as well. So welcome to everybody. For those of you who know your specialists or our client support team much better than you know me, my name is Michael Taylor. I'm going to be serving as our moderator for this webinar and then for every webinar in the 2020 breakout series. As we've shared previously, this breakout series, it was originally supposed to be our annual event, an in-person event. So instead what we've done is we've taken all those breakout sessions that we had planned to do and we're doing them as standalone webinars. So if you haven't already, please go follow Early Learning Ventures on Facebook so you can stay up to date with our webinar offerings over these next several months. Today is actually one of those trainings I'm really excited for. I was really excited for the in-person event. We're joined by someone whose advice and guidance has been impactful for my own personal growth and for ELV's growth, and that is Tim Fitzpatrick of Rialto Marketing. So we're going to be talking about marketing today, and specifically from the angle which can be, I find rather lacking across the whole childcare industry, which is websites and online presence. Next week, we have another marketing webinar that will be a little more generalist in approach, still tailored specifically for childcare. But today, Tim is going to be sharing a lot of utilitarian advice that I'd highly recommend about how to frame yourself online, whether that's just your Facebook or on your own hosted site. And I'd like you to take note, as Tim's a marketing professional and he has some free supports for you all today. We're going to be calling those out in the post-webinar messaging. Also, as always, you'll receive a copy of the slides and a recording of this talk. And we'll also call out some things that ELV will do to support you. To that end, I'd again like to highlight some of the supports we have opened up during COVID. First, if you weren't aware, we've opened up our resource platform for free throughout the rest of 2020 for all Colorado childcare professionals. We'll include how to get an account. And for everyone, whether or not you're using our system, if you didn't know, we have touchless sign-in now. We're having more and more providers use it each week, and we've had a lot of resounding praise for its ease and help thus far. So if this is something you'd like to think about implementing at your center, or if you know this is something that your friends in the industry are needing, please reach out to me. But all that's my marketing, not your marketing. So I'm actually going to be turning off my camera and acting as moderator, and I'm going to be turning over to Tim. So Tim, thank you so much for being with us here today. And would you mind sharing and taking it away?
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate it. And happy to be here. And I'm going to do my best over the next 55 minutes or so to give you guys as much value as I possibly can. So should be good there. You guys should see my screen. If you don't, Michael, just yell at me. But what I'm going to talk about is everything that you need to know to have an amazing website. Okay, it's now more than ever, your online presence is really, really important. With what's happening with COVID, I know it has heavily impacted the childcare industry. People are going online, and I think it's really, really important to have some type of presence there that is going to add credibility and legitimacy to your business. So I'm going to focus on website stuff today, but I will also talk about a few tools here as we get into some of the slides that will help you as well. And I'm going to give you guys some tools at the end that will help you implement. So again, my name is Tim Fitzpatrick. I'm with Rialto Marketing. And I am super happy to be here. So my goal for you guys today is to give you one or two things that you can pull out, implement within your business, and help improve your business. Okay, coming out of trainings like this, they're no good if you don't implement. And so just don't get bogged down. Focus on one, two things max that you can implement, and then start moving forward from there. It's those little steps forward that are going to help get you to where you want to be. I always like to start presentations that I do just defining marketing, because if you jump online and you look at the definition of marketing, you're going to get all kinds of different definitions. I like to keep things as simple as humanly possible. Marketing is getting someone who has a need or a problem you can solve to know, like, and trust you. Okay, we all do business with people that we know, like, and trust. So the job of our marketing is to help people find us so they can get to know us, they start to like us, and they trust us to the point where they're ready to and willing to take that next step to do business with us. Okay, that is the only purpose of our marketing. Okay. Now I'm going to give you a Cliff Note version of me real quick, because I think it'll give you some context as to why I'm here. And then I'm going to jump into this for you. Okay. So this is less than 30 seconds, but I grew up here. I was born here, grew up here. I liked this, and this as a kid. All of this was during this time. When it was time for me to go to college, I wanted to do this. So I went here, but I didn't like being in this every day. So I transferred here, majored in, after, start a wholesale distribution company selling this kind of stuff. And we grew like this for over 10 years, and it was all I could do to hold on until we did this. Along the way, checked an item off my bucket list. Shortly after that, checked another item off my bucket list. 2008, we moved here to start about a year later, here we are. And shortly after that, we were blessed with this little lady. Another 18 months later, we were blessed with another child. Meanwhile, I was selling these for a living, which made me feel like this every day. So I shifted gears, started a company offering this too, so they could do that. And that is why I'm here. So that is enough about me. Now, what are we going to talk about? I'm going to talk about your website building options, some of the different tools that you have at your disposal to build your website and hopefully make it as easy as possible. And then two, I'm going to go through the essential website design elements. Okay. I would much rather have a website that is not as pretty, that has great messaging. Okay, because websites, there are all kinds of pretty websites out there that don't do anything because they don't say anything. They don't engage people. They don't make sense. And website's never going to work if it doesn't have really good messaging. So I'm going to cover with you guys the really important essential elements that will help you accomplish that. One key that is really important to keep in mind, frankly, with any of your marketing, not just your website, is that our customers, they don't care about us. They don't care about our company. What they care about is what we can do for them. What problem can we solve that is going to help them get from where they are to where they want to be? That's all they care about. So when we look at our messaging and how we communicate with customers, we need to focus on them and how we can help them. What benefits are they going to experience? What problems are we going to solve? So with any of your marketing, super important to keep that in mind. So we're going to jump into your website building options. There are all kinds of them out there. I'm really going to cover just a handful here that I think probably are going to make the most sense for you potentially. Before I jump into that, I want to give you guys some other options, okay? I'm a marketing person. I'm biased. I think having a website is really important. But I also understand it is a very tough market right now. You may not have the funds for that. If you do not have the funds to invest in a website right now, at the very least, you can still build online presence by looking at creating a Facebook business page or your Google My Business page. Both of them are free. They're not going to cost you any money. And a lot of the stuff that I talk about today, you can still incorporate some of those elements in there. So it's not going to cost you any money to do either one of these. By the way, Google My Business page, if you're not familiar with it, when somebody does a search for your company name, all the search results show up on the left-hand side of the page. On the right-hand side of the page, if you have a Google My Business page set up, so this section right here on the right-hand side, this is our Google My Business page. Your Google My Business page, frankly, is almost like a miniature website. Google actually does not want people to leave the search results page. So one of the things they did was set up Google My Business, and it's a miniature website. You can provide a ton of information on here. Directions, your reviews on here, which is huge. So you can manage your Google reviews, your address. You can schedule appointments on here. There's all kinds of information you can do here. And Google My Business is totally free to set up. So if a website is not in the cards for you, I would look at both of these options. Even if a website is in the cards for you, if you have not taken advantage of these options, I would highly recommend that you do so, because they are free and they will just help build out your online presence. So first website building platform I want to talk about is web.com. Most of these website platforms are what we call drag and drop. So, there's different elements that you can just drag and drop onto a page to easily design your website. Web.com has that. They've got a good, easy drag and drop design builder. They have a very wide range of templates. For most businesses, you can find a template that's going to work for you and just make some little tweaks to those designs and away you go. So you don't have to be a super technical person to create your own website, okay? Now, one of the reasons I brought web.com up first is because as an Early Learning Ventures customer, they will actually design your web.com site for you at no charge. Okay, you are still gonna have web.com hosting fees, which right now it's about $120 for the first year, and I think another $143, $145, something like that each year after. But they will design the site for you, which I think is a huge, huge benefit. So if you're looking to save some money and you just want to get that website up, this is a very inexpensive, super easy way to get it done. Wix is the next one. Wix is a very popular website building platform. Again, easy drag and drop design. They've got great templates. They have a pretty big app store, and that app store will allow you to integrate third-party tools that you may be using. Okay, so if it's important for you to integrate some of the tools that you're currently using within your business in your website, that is definitely something that you are going to want to look at and pay particular attention to before you decide on a platform. Do they give you the ability to integrate some of those tools that you may want to? Wix has a big app store, and so they're definitely a good option for that if you're looking to integrate third-party tools into your website. Wix, I would say, is not great for really large sites, 30-plus page sites that have a lot of navigation, because their navigation structure is limited. But I think for most of the people on this call, 30-page site is well beyond what you're going to need. So I think Wix is a pretty strong platform. Squarespace is another one. Squarespace is a very strong platform from a blogging standpoint. So if you are going to be creating content, blogging, creating articles, helpful resources, those types of things, Squarespace is a pretty good platform to look at. They've got good and flexible designs. It's not the easiest page builder to work with. Most of these work similarly. Some of them are just a little bit easier to use than others. Squarespace is not quite as intuitive. The external applications are not quite as robust as Wix. So again, I mean, that's not going to be an issue if you don't have a lot of things you want to integrate. But if you do, again, just double check and make sure that the platform you're looking at is going to meet your specific needs. Weebly is the next website building platform. Ease of use is unmatched. It is very, very easy to use. It can work with larger sites. Unlike Wix, their navigation structure is a bit more robust, makes a lot more sense. They do have a lot of content within their app store as well. Not as extensive as Wix, but still pretty broad, and I think will meet the needs for a lot of people. But if you're looking for something where, hey, you're not super technical, you want to put a site together, Weebly is going to be a good option if you want to do it yourself. Now, the last two options I'm going to talk about, I'm biased to, okay, because we use them to build sites for clients when we are doing website work. Duda is very similar to all the options that I just mentioned. The thing that we really like about Duda is, one, they've got great design templates. They've got some really cool site personalization tools. So you can cater specific things to happen when certain people visit your site, or, if you've got, with COVID, you've got updates and messages that you want to highlight. They've got some really good personalization tools that can really improve the user experience when people come to your site. Their editor is very easy to use. They have great custom build capabilities. So unlike a lot of the platforms that I just talked about, Duda, if you need something very specific, you can actually have somebody code it, create a custom widget to do what you want. So they do have a lot of capability from a customization standpoint if you need that. Really strong blog platform. I already mentioned they've got the best customization capabilities outside of WordPress, which WordPress is the next one I'm going to talk to. I'm going to be honest with you guys. For most of the people on this call, I think WordPress is overkill. It's 25 to 30% of websites out there are built on WordPress, so it is a very popular platform. You can customize it to the end of the road. I mean, there's really are not a lot of limits with WordPress. Great for larger sites, but it is not easy for beginners. If you're not technical and you have a WordPress site, I would highly recommend that you work with somebody that's going to manage it for you, which means that the costs are going to be a bit higher. Most of the ongoing hosting and maintenance costs for the other platforms I mentioned, they're going to be somewhere between $15 to $50 or $60 a month. WordPress, can go anywhere from 50 to 100 and actually over $200 a month, depending on what you're doing. So it's just, there's a lot more moving parts in a WordPress site. They're great sites. I mean, our site is built on it, but we need that extra capability. There are plenty of businesses out there that don't need that. And if you don't need it, there's really no point in spending the extra money for it. If you don't need it, make it easier to manage your site on an ongoing basis and use one of the other platforms that I mentioned. So how much is my website going to cost? Okay, this is a very loaded question, but I want to at least give you guys an idea so that you have some general numbers, okay? Design setup, you're gonna pay anywhere between 500 to $5,000. Depends on how big the site is. Is it a single page site? Is it 5-page, or is it way more than that? Monthly, you're gonna pay between $20 to $200 a month, depending on what they're doing. Now, a couple things I want you to keep in mind. As with most things in life, you get what you pay for, okay? There are a lot of people who will put together sites for very inexpensive, but a lot of times those end up looking like $500 sites. So just make sure that if you're on that lower end, that you understand exactly what you are getting so that you're happy with the finished product. Content is one of the biggest issues in website design. It is the biggest delay. And a lot of website designers expect you as the client to provide and write the content. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think most clients are the right people to write content. When we talk about writing content for a website, we're talking about writing sales content, sales copy. And so I think it is much better to have somebody who is familiar with sales writing to write copy for websites. Some website designers will actually hire and bring somebody, a content writer, into the project. A lot of them won't. So just kind of keep that in mind so that you know what you're getting. When we're doing websites, we always include content writing. That's just our viewpoint of it. I think the finished product is much, much better, but just keep that in mind as you're looking at your different website options, because content is really, really important. One of the things I talked about early on was I would rather have a site that doesn't look as pretty, that has better content, than one that looks pretty and has lousy content. The first one's going to perform much, much better. And the last thing is your website. It's the most important marketing asset you have. Everything you do drives people back online. We are so used to, oh, I get a referral, cool. I'm going to go online and check this company out. If I don't like what I see online about your company, I am probably not taking the next step to call or schedule a meeting or whatever that call to action may be. Okay, so keep that in mind. Your website is super, super important. So that is it on website builders. Now we're going to move in where I'm going to finish this off with is the essential website ingredients that I believe help convert visitors to actual paying customers, which is what we want, right? We all want our websites to generate leads and new customers. So all of the elements that I'm going to talk about are specifically focused around your homepage. Just keep in mind that any one of these elements you can actually adapt and use on some of the other pages of your website. You know, so your service pages or your About Us page, some of these elements you can pull in and use over and over again on the various pages. But the main focus here is what you need to have on the homepage of your website. Your above the fold content is what I see when I land on your website and without scrolling down the page. So it is the most important part of your website, because if people don't like what they see here, they are not going to scroll down the rest of the page or take that action that you want them to take. So our above the fold content, we need to make sure that it answers, what do you do? You know, what do you offer? How's it going to make their life better? You know, what makes you different? And what do I need to do to buy it? What's that next step I need to take if I am going to work with your business? That's what our above the fold content needs to display. So I've got some samples to try and help bring this more to a more visual element and make more sense of it. So this is a design remodel contractor. So immediately when I land on their above the fold content, I know they're design remodel because it actually says it in their logo. But then they're saying you'll love your remodeling experience as much as you love your new kitchen. And if any of you guys have ever done a remodeling project, you know that the process is a nightmare. It is a pain. Sometimes it's not even worth going through that for the finished product. What they're letting people know is, hey, you're going to love your new kitchen, but you're going to love the process just as much. Huge differentiator. And then schedule a consultation. That is their direct call to action, letting people know, hey, if you're interested, this is what you need to do next. This is a pet retreat, you know, so they do boarding and training and that type of stuff. So it's, you know, a pet retreat you and your dog will love, helping you help your dog to live their best life. And then they've got a very clear, again, direct call to action of book now. The other thing I like about this site, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see they've got their book now direct call to action up there, but they also have schedule a tour. Schedule a tour, I'm going to get into this in a little bit, is what we call a transitional call to action. I'm not quite ready to buy, but I still am interested. Schedule a tour is a great transitional call to action for a company like this. It's a great transitional call to action for you guys that are in childcare, right? Because, hey, I like what I see on your website. I need to get a little bit more familiar with you. Let me come in, take a tour of the facility and really learn what you guys are all about. That is then going to get me that much more comfortable so that I'm ready to just book my kids. So, but you'll see here, there's not a lot of content here. Okay. Whenever you think about your marketing, you want to make sure that things are clear, not clever. When we start to get clever with our marketing message, we confuse people. And when we confuse people, we lose them. They're gone. We have very short attention spans at this point. The last time I saw a stat, the human attention span was 8 seconds, which is less than a goldfish. Okay, so when we land on a website, if we don't immediately see the value in it, we are moving on to somewhere else. So you'll see these are really, really simple. There's not a lot of content. People are not reading websites, they are scanning them, and we need to make it easy for them to find what they want, read those really important elements, and then if they want to dig deeper, they can. This is a landscaping company, so they'll help you make your yard beautiful. They do custom design, proper installation, low maintenance. Get a free quote. That's their direct call to action. And then this is an IT services company. So IT services that enable your Vermont company to thrive. Okay, they handle the demands of maintaining your IT infrastructure. Call them is their direct call to action. And then they actually have what we call a transitional call to action where they're offering something of value, 10 ways to find peace of mind with your IT. I give them my name, my email address, and maybe I didn't take that step of calling them, but now they've captured my information and they can keep in touch with me and nurture me until I'm ready to actually take that next step and buy. Then I've got, this is a farm. So they sell true pasture raised meats, right? They're local, they deliver in the Dayton area, grass-fed, ethically raised, GMO-free, place my order. Again, this is the same stuff over and over again. We are not reinventing the wheel. We have a clear, succinct message that talks about the benefits and what you do, and then what's the next step they need to take. We do not need to overcomplicate this. Too many people overcomplicate marketing, and it doesn't need to be that way. The next important element that we need on our homepage is your value proposition. You know, the WIFM, right? We've all heard of that. What is in it for me? Okay. So here's some examples for you. Have confidence in your network. So this is obviously the IT company. Have confidence in your network, save time and energy, see greater productivity. All they're doing is just hitting on 3 simple benefits that you're going to experience when you work with them. So this is Myers, the pet retreat, right? The thing I like about what they did here in this content block is they're highlighting these benefits, but then they've got another sentence or 2 below expanding on that. So if somebody does want to dig a little bit deeper, they can read further. And then at the bottom of this particular content block, they've got their direct call to action again. Book now. This is an event planning company. And so together, we'll make your dreams come to life. Enjoy the planning process, truly celebrate on your big day, and years later, friends are still talking about it. Okay, it's been a while since I got married, but I do remember that process, especially as I got much closer to the day. There was a lot of moving parts. We're trying to put all these things together. It was pretty stressful. I did not enjoy the process. They're highlighting one of those benefits. You're going to enjoy this process. You're going to be able to celebrate on your big day. You can relax. You don't have to worry. And, you know, a lot of us want our friends to be talking about it years later. So very, very clear. And then they've got their direct call to action right there. Schedule an appointment. Landscaping company, right? Your landscaping should look great and complement your home. Highlight your home's best features, create an enjoyable outdoor space, and spend less time on maintenance. Again, they're expanding upon those highlighted benefits with another sentence or 2 down below it if you want that additional info, but still not super content heavy. I don't know about you. If I land on a website and all I see are words, not enough white space, not images, I'm like, man, I don't have time for that. I'm moving on. Okay, and I don't think I am in the minority there. So we want to make our website easy for people to scan, easy for them to read the information, see the value, and take that next step. The next element that we need on the homepage of our website is a plan. And a plan, all it does is simply spell out how your customers are going to do business with you. What are the 3 steps that I'm going to take when I decide that I want to work with you? When we offer a plan, what we're doing is we're alleviating any confusion that your potential customers may have and what it's going to be like to do business with you. And a business that provides a plan actually becomes trusted. So what do these look like? This is an example from a financial planner. How to start planning your worry-free retirement. Talk with us, get a plan, enjoy your freedom. Simple. As a financial planner, are they doing a lot of other stuff behind the scenes? Absolutely they are. But we don't need to go into those 10, 15, 50 different steps right now. It's just going to confuse people and then you're going to lose them. The other thing I like here, again, they're expanding upon that benefit, that particular step in the process. Talk with us. Well, what is that? Well, schedule a free strategy session and tell us what you want your future to look like. Okay, so they're just expanding upon what that particular step is and really kind of highlighting what the benefit of that step is for the potential client. This is the landscaping company, how to transform your outdoor space. You're going to consult with us, we're going to design your landscape, and then you're going to enjoy your outdoor space. Again, very simple. Cool, I got it, I understand. And then bam, down at the bottom, they've got their get a free quote. That's their next step. This is actually a move management company that we worked with. So schedule a free consultation, customize your plan, and then leave it to us. Okay, if any of you have moved recently, we always have way more stuff than we think. We start packing and we're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I had all this stuff. Moving, just like planning an event, there's a lot of moving parts. That's what this company is going to help alleviate, right? They're going to talk to you, they're going to customize a plan, and then you don't have to worry about it. Just show up at your new house. We got everything else taken care of. Okay, pretty nice. So this is the event company again, right? Path to creating an unbelievable event is easy. Listen, collaborate, wow. Cool, love it. Schedule an appointment. They've got their direct call to action there. They've got some additional information below if I want more. So what's going on in the listen stage? Well, your vision is most important. We will meet and start sketching out a plan. Okay, let's collaborate. Well, we'll work together to implement your plan. I'll take care of all the nagging details. Right? Sounds pretty good to me, but very easy for me to understand. This is the farm, right? So enjoying the benefits of naturally raised meat is easy. Place your order, we deliver it, you enjoy your meat, okay? Place my order, my direct call to action there again. I hope you guys are seeing this. This is simple stuff. We are not overcomplicating it. There's not a ton of content in any of these content blocks on the homepage. The next thing we need on our homepage is trust and authority building elements. We all do business. Remember, job of our marketing is to get people to know, like, and trust us. We have to build trust in order for people to take that next step. So how do we do that on our website? There's some real easy ways to do that. Testimonials. Do you need a lot? No. If you can put 2 or 3 testimonials on the homepage of your website, that's enough. That's all you need. Do you have certifications? Licensing. Have you received any awards that people might know about? Here, we've been honored to receive these awards from SCORE. We've all seen these types of content blocks where it's, hey, I've been featured in Forbes or Inc. For a childcare center, even if you were featured on the local news, okay, those are all things that I may not know a lot about your particular childcare center, but if I see that you've been featured on CBS News, or if you've won this award, that credibility, the credibility of that other organization is transferring to yours. So it's a great way for you to leverage that to build trust and credibility. On your homepage, I think you only need a couple set content blocks to establish authority and credibility. Have a testimonial block. If that's all you got, great. Start there. If you've got awards or other content blocks you can put in to help establish credibility outside of testimonials, then I would recommend that as well. But you don't need 5 blocks, talking all about you. It just needs to be enough so that somebody goes, okay, cool. They've worked with people that really enjoy working with them. They've got some certifications. Cool, they're legit. I'm comfortable with that. Then we have to have our calls to action. I've already talked about this a few times, but most customers do not take action unless they are challenged to do so. So we need to tell people when they land on our website exactly what we want them to do. Do you want them to fill out a form? Do you want them to schedule a consult or schedule a tour? What do you want them to do? Tell them. There are 2 kinds of calls to action. I've talked about them. Direct, transitional. Direct is for those people that are ready to buy now. Ready to go. Buy now, get a free consultation, schedule an appointment. Those are all examples of direct calls to action. But if we don't have what we call transitional calls to action, which are for people that aren't ready, if we can't capture their contact information in some way, shape, or form, we are relying on them to come back to us. And in most cases, they're not going to come back. they're probably not even going to remember, especially if they visited 5 or 6 different childcare provider websites and they didn't take action. They may not even remember. So our transitional call to action is a way that we can add value to them in some way, shape, or form, capture their contact information so that we can build that relationship with them so that when they are ready, they think of us first. So this can be free information, cheat sheets, checklists, it could be 5 things you need to ask your next childcare provider. If I'm looking at different childcare services for my child, I'd like to know that. It could be, like I said before, schedule a tour. Come in, see what we do so that you can get comfortable and ask any questions that you want. Those types of things, those are good examples of transitional calls to action to gather information so that you can keep in contact so that when they are ready, you're the first person they reach out to. So these are examples. Again, I've already touched on a lot of those. The one here on the upper left is the example from the IT company about the 10 ways your company can gain peace of mind. So they've got some information there, and then I fill in my info, hit submit, and now I'm going to get that. Now, I will tell you on this form, they're gathering quite a bit of information. Typically, the less information you gather, the better, and the higher conversion that you're going to have on that. I like to get first name and email. That's not to say that that's the best way to do it, but I like to get, a lot of people will just get email. I like to get first name so that I can personalize the email outreach when we send it. Then we've got video. Okay, we're very visual people. Video is so valuable, especially right now with what we're dealing with. Face-to-face interactions they're limited. They're not the same as they used to be. Video can be a great, great way for people to put a face to the company name and for you to help build that relationship before you even meet people. Having a video on the homepage of your website of, if you're the owner or the director, just talking to people, hey, what's it like to do business with you? How do you help parents? Taking a tour of your facility, showing them the different rooms, some of the things that you do, how you take care of their kids while they're gone and they're right there with you. That's super, super important, and video is a great, great way to do that on your website. So how can you use video on your website, but just in your marketing in general? Client testimonials with video are great. Product service videos, company culture. Company culture is more that homepage video where you're talking about your company, your center, what you guys do, what it's like to work with you, showing them your facility so that they can get comfortable with it, right? That's what I'm talking about when I talk about company culture. And that frankly is where most businesses start with video. Sales videos, how-to and explainer videos, or Q&A. So FAQs can be a great way, especially for childcare centers. What are the frequently asked questions that you guys get from existing clients, from potential clients? You can use video to answer those questions and build rapport with people before they even speak to you. So I want to touch on a few other website elements that I did not touch on that I think are important to keep in mind when you're looking at your website. One, your core offerings and your services. A lot of people will call out, if you have various services that you're doing, having a content block on your homepage that just lets people know what those are, I think is really important. And then if they want more information, you can always create additional pages for those specific services where you're going to dig deep. But highlighting the services that you offer on your homepage, I think, is important. If you work with a very specific target market, calling that out can be important. If you're on social media, make sure that your social media icons and links are on your website. Most common places for people to highlight those is right in the header and in the footer of your website. If you don't have space in the header and you can't do that, it's totally okay. Just make sure it's in the footer of your website. Proof or results, so case studies, white papers, those types of things can be really helpful. For childcare centers, name, address, phone number in the footer of your website is very, very important. because it helps send good signals to Google. Because you are a local business, where are you located? We need to have that information there. So having your name, address, phone number is really, really important in the footer. When it's in the footer, it will automatically show up on every page of your website. The cost, I'm gonna skip that because I don't think it's super relevant for you guys as childcare providers. Images, I think, are really important. You don't want images that are just random, that don't communicate anything. We want the images that we use on our website to help support and communicate to people, what do we do? What's it like to work with us? You know, so as a childcare provider, you got kids playing at a table, doing whatever, and they're happy, they're having fun, right? You can show pictures of happy parents, you know, those types of things will all help communicate and reinforce that feeling that you want people to have, right? They're dropping their kids off at your place. I mean, these are the most important people in their life, and they're dropping them off and walking away. So we need to communicate that level of trust. People need to know exactly what is being done with their kids when they are in your care. So recap, okay? Essential website design elements, your above the fold content, your value proposition, your plan, trust and authority building elements, your calls to action, and video. I would tell it, video, I think, is a bonus. The first 5, in my opinion, are non-negotiables. You need to have those on your website. I guarantee you, if you have those on your website is going to be 10 times better than any of your competitors. When we jump off today, just pull up some of your competitors' websites and see what they do, okay? You will have a very strong website if you do this. So I want to take just 5 minutes and then we're going to get into Q&A. But hopefully you feel like I've given you some good value here. But none of this is going to help you if you don't take action. So I want to give you guys a few different tools that I think will help you take action and implement. Okay. There is no pressure from me, but I want to make you guys aware of these. And if you want to take advantage of them, great, feel free and do it. The first thing is totally free, which is must-have homepage elements checklist. Okay, it reinforces what we talked about in the slide deck and offers a lot of additional resources and goes a little bit more in depth. Slide deck you're going to get from ELV. But I also have some additional website resources that I think will help you get going. If you want to take advantage of these things, all you need to do is go to this link on our website, rialtomarketing.com/website-workshop. When you go to that page, this is what it looks like. All you need to do is put your first name, your email, and get resources, okay? When you do this, you are going to start getting some emails from us, okay? If all you want is that link, then the first email has the link and you can unsubscribe. It is totally up to you, but you're going to get a ton of other value from us. We communicate with people that are on our email list weekly with tips, tricks, things that are going to help them with their business from a marketing perspective. So, but if you don't want to stay on the list and all you want are the tools, just unsubscribe. My feelings are not going to be hurt. Now, the last thing that I have for you is paid. It is heavily discounted, but if you want, do you want outside eyes to know that you're doing your website right? If you do, we offer a very inexpensive website audit that will help you do just that, okay? What are we gonna do in this website audit? We're gonna look at your website content and your messaging. We're gonna look at your on-page SEO. We're gonna look at the performance of your website. How fast is it? Okay, because how fast your website is determines how many people are actually going to stay on it. We will do a 30-minute Zoom review meeting with you to go through everything that we audited and what the results were. And then once you've implemented your website, we will do a recorded review of the completed website to give you feedback. Did you get it right? Is there something you're still missing? So that you know that you've done it right. Okay, the total value on this is $1,000. We obviously don't charge that much. if you decide to do this and you get through it and you go, you know what, Tim, I don't want to do my website. It's not the highest and best use of my time. We want you guys to do it. We will credit the website audit cost towards the cost of your website. So it won't cost you anything. So we do this for $199. Okay. If you purchase in the next 48 hours from this, we'll throw in another 30-minute marketing consult, absolutely free of charge. Again, there's no pressure from me. You've spent an hour on the phone with me. I appreciate it. I want to do what I can to help you. If you decide to take advantage of this, we'll throw in another 30-minute consultation on top of that. If you want to take advantage of this, just go to website-audit-offer on our website. This is what that page looks like. And you just click buy my $199 website audit and you can make the purchase right there. Okay. But even if you decide, 2 weeks from now that you want this, we do this all the time. Okay. So you can always go to that page to buy it. So if those things are helpful for you, take advantage of them. I think they will help you start to implement. But again, there's no pressure from me. If it's a good fit, great. Now, we've got about 12 minutes to go through any questions that you guys have. Michael's gonna moderate and pop that stuff up. So please fire away. I am an open book and I am happy to answer any questions that you guys have. Michael, it looks like you're still on mute.
Yes, thank you for that. Actually, I just had my entire Zoom crash out right as you were about to get back to me. I was in there the whole way, but no, we're fine. We're fine. We're back. Hey, everybody. So, yeah, very quickly, the first thing before we get into the questions, just because this is, a sensitive topic inside childcare, it's just if you are going to have photos on your website, make sure that you have a photo release and that you have that saved and stored, especially with kids. So just something that comes up, in our field quite often. So
can I add to that real quick?
I did have a couple questions. Yes.
So the other thing, if you don't want to use real images of kids in your facility, there are all kinds of stock photo sites out there where you can find images that you can use. Just be careful when you use stock. There are free stock photo sites. You just want to make sure if you're pulling images off of stock photo sites that you have the license to use them. Because if you do not have the license to use them, you can get in trouble. And actually, Michael, go ahead. In chat, I'll post a link to a resource about stock photo sites.
Okay, when you post, just make sure to choose the all panelists and attendees option. And so there are, we do have a couple questions filing in. So one is around, you talked about some of the sites and the hosting sites that you appreciate. Some of our network is already using other things. So we were curious, what are your feelings on some other ones out there, specifically GoDaddy for a couple of our providers on there?
And guys, I just put the link in chat for the stock photo sites. So that's an article from our website that goes into some of our favorite free stock photo sites. So there's a lot of people using GoDaddy. I love GoDaddy from a domain registrar standpoint. From a website building standpoint, it's a little bit limiting, which is why I don't care for it. But what I will tell you is if you find a template on most website building platforms that you like, that is going to work for your business, by all means, go for it. As a marketing person, I like to have more flexibility from a design standpoint and from a search engine optimization standpoint. And GoDaddy does not give you a lot of flexibility there, which is why I don't talk about it. But if it's working for you, and you like the site that's up there, please don't think that just because I didn't talk about it that it's no good.
Yeah, thank you. This is a common one that honestly I've always been curious about, but it's basically how to overcome, if you have one bad review or something like that is tanking your score, is how do you go out and ask for more good reviews?
Yep. So reviews are so important. That's another reason why I think it's so important to have a Google My Business page, because that is where your Google reviews are going to be. For local businesses like childcare centers, reviews are huge. I would say to you, if the best way to overcome bad reviews is to get more good reviews, okay? A lot of businesses, when we say to them, hey, you need to focus on getting reviews, and they say, well, what if I get a bunch of bad reviews? If you have more bad reviews than you do good reviews, that is pointing to an operational issue that you need to fix anyways. So, your customers will tell you what you're doing great, and they'll tell you what you're doing bad. So either way, the information you get from reviews is going to help you in your business. So if you get 1 or 2 bad reviews, one, it lends credibility and legitimacy to your other reviews. Because if you go to somebody and you see that they have 10 5-star reviews, what do you think? You're like, are these real? I mean, nobody's perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect. So it's okay to have bad reviews. You need to drown out the bad by having more good. And the way you do that is having a consistent process for requesting reviews. So in your process, in your onboarding process, in some way, shape, or form, you need to have a system so that you request reviews from parents and you make it easy for them to do it. Don't tell them, hey, please leave a review on Google. Give them the link to where they need to go to leave that review. If you make it as easy as possible, there's a much higher likelihood that they will do it. If you make it difficult, remember, our attention spans are short. They're gonna be like, forget it, I'm not doing it. But if you do that and you have a process for doing it, you will consistently get reviews over time, and they will build, and you'll be in good shape. But don't be afraid of bad reviews. The only other thing I would say about reviews, respond to all of them. If you respond to your reviews, you are showing that you are proactive, that you care about what people think, and you are differentiating yourself from your competitors. If it's a bad review, don't get in a pissing match online. Just say, hey, I'm so sorry that we fell short. We're not perfect. Please reach out to us here, and we will do everything we can to address your issue. Put an email, put a phone number, something like that. That's all people care about. Because guess how many times have we done business with somebody, they did a lousy job, we reach out to try and get it fixed, and it's crickets. That's not what anybody wants. So when you respond to bad reviews, all you're communicating to people is, we care, we fell short, and we're willing to do what we can to try and fix the issue. That's all people care about. That's another great way to eliminate the impact of your bad reviews.
Along that same line, if people have had reviews there for some time, should they go back and respond to old reviews, or is it better to just do this starting now?
It's not going to hurt. It probably doesn't have quite the impact that it does if you do it promptly. But promptly, it doesn't mean you have to do it within 5 minutes of the review. Jump on there once a week and respond to reviews and just let people know that you care. So if you got the time, you can always respond to old ones, but it's probably not going to have as much of an impact.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so with this, how we talked about at the beginning, that is, if you don't have the My Google Business page, it would be good as just like a placeholder. And it seems that one of our attendees has already started that. So on that, they got taken to a website builder that like the business page took you to. So is that something separate?
Yeah, so when you sign up for Google My Business, once you log in there is an option to build a website right there in Google. Again, I'm going to go back to what I said with the previous question about GoDaddy. If that will work for you, by all means use it. From my standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, I think it's pretty limited. Honestly, I don't even know how much it costs. I've never actually looked at it. But if you take a look at it and it's going to work for you, cool, absolutely use it. I would rather have you use that than not have any website at all.
Cool. And just to make sure, you don't have to go through with that to complete the, My Google Business page. That's
correct. It's just an option in your Google My Business page. And while we're talking about your Google My Business page, make sure it's not difficult. Just take the steps to put as much information in there as you possibly can. The more information you can put in there, the more fields you fill out, the better.
Okay. You know, it's funny. A couple of the questions I had been planning to ask would be addressed already by some of the things you've shared. But something I am curious about. So this field's very word of mouth oriented. You know, parents as well. A lot of providers have told me it's like, hey, a lot of my enrollment comes from, I heard from a friend of a friend.
Yep.
So how, like, what kind of, you know, for somebody that isn't used to that kind of marketing ask, what is that first step to leverage their current customers that are already talking well about them?
So one, I think, is you need to, if you want referrals, in most cases, you have to ask for referrals. So if you know, and this depends on how you ask, is really going to depend on how your business is set up and how you're currently communicating with parents. But that could be point of sale material, right? Do you have a referral program of any kind? You know, are you willing to compensate parents for referring new customers to your place of business? Having referral programs, like, you know, it's very common for people to have what we call double-ended referral programs, which can be really powerful, where, you know, if you refer a family to us and they do business with us, we'll give you $50 and we give them $50. You know, so both sides of that benefit. You know, so having a referral program can help. Reminding people, like when people come in, do you have something that talks about your referral program or reminds them about referrals? If you are messaging via email or text or whatever you're using there, reminding people about it. You know, for example, I've got a realtor friend. He sends out stuff monthly. He sends out a market report monthly. And in his communication, he is always reminding people about his referral program. Always. You know, so it's just, the more you can talk about it, the more it's going to be top of mind. In marketing, there's a marketing rule. They say the marketing rule of 7, which means it takes 7 impressions for things to register with people and for them to take action. So you can't just mention your referral program once and expect they're going to remember it. So just be consistent about reminding parents. And if you have a formal program, talk about the referral program. If you don't have a referral program, just let them know, hey, we want to work with more parents that'll experience the exact benefits that you're experiencing by sending your kids here. Who else do you know? What other family do you know that could benefit from this? So awesome. I hope that helps.
Yeah, that helps a lot. And actually, quick plug, those of you using Core, if you if you refer somebody over us, you get 2 months free of Core as well as they do at the start. So I know we talked about it a lot.
So there's the example of the double-ended referral program.
Yeah. So yeah, and also, you know, one of our business development manager chimed in that she's seeing good success inside the childcare industry by offering an incentive around it. In normal times, it's like a childcare will do an invite to an ice cream social, but right now it might look like a free kid shirt with, you know, your logo on it or something like that for that double marketing kind of thing. Yep. So yeah.
Yeah, incentives usually don't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we are at 2:00 and I like to be, you know, cognizant of everybody's time. So I am going to be ending the meeting. Tim, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a lot of good information. You know, I see that we also have a lot of people, not just childcare providers, but a couple steps up the rung. We got provider groups, we got councils. So I think a lot of what you talked about today is applicable to everybody. And as we had mentioned at the beginning, we are going to be sending out a copy of Tim's slides, a recording of his presentation. There's going to be a link over to Tim's website for both of the offers. His free one about just, you know, getting those resources, getting on that list. And then also, you know, if you have a website and it's not really working for you and you would like an audit, you know, that's frankly what we did. So yeah, thank you so much, Tim. And thank you everybody for joining us. And I'm going to be closing out the meeting. So
thank you. Take care.
Have a great one.